Hey guys, welcome to the Scholar Online YouTube channel, the channel that is all about learning. In this channel, I make a lot of videos on how to create your own website, how to create your own e-commerce or WooCommerce website and start making money online by selling products online. If you're new to this channel, please remember to hit the subscribe button. You can find it at the bottom of the video and just hit subscribe. Please like this video if you like my content and remember to leave me a comment below. Talk to me, let me know what you like about the videos, what you don't like about the videos, what I can do to improve on these videos. And if you're new to the channel as well, if you go to the description, there is video timestamps available for you if you want to jump ahead to certain sections of the video. If you don't want to watch the entire video, please feel free to utilize those video timestamps and follow us on our social media channels. We've got a Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram page, and let's start learning. Welcome back to our online courses. In this video, we're going to continue where we left off, building our online shop e-commerce store that is selling lace wigs in South Africa. If you can have a look, this is what we have so far. We've built a store. Currently, our store is operational. Anybody should be able to come in here, buy a lace wig. We've included our payment methods. We've done everything that is required for the basic minimum to get your store up and running. But if you know anything about e-commerce, you would know that that is 20% of the work is just to build the actual website. The remaining 80% of the work is to market, because as much as we built this store about 2 weeks ago, we don't have any traffic. Nobody's visiting our store. Nobody's coming to buy products from us. We've got the perfect store. Why isn't anybody buying from us? Well, we're going to address this problem in this video. What you need to do after you've built a good store is to start marketing it. Marketing is one of the most important things in e-commerce. It's one of your leading success factors. You will not be successful as an e-commerce person if you do not do marketing. So this video is going to be solely focused on all the marketing things that you need to do to get your store noticed and to start getting traffic being driven to your online store. And we're going to follow our schedule that we created when we started this project. We started with project planning, we did our web design, we did webmaster services, and in the last video we did social media building as well. In this video, we're going to continue where we left off, building our social media accounts and start utilizing them for marketing our online store and getting our products out there to start driving traffic to our business and start making some sales. But we're going to start the discussion with creating a Google My Business profile, and I will tell you a little bit about that. We might not actually create one in this actual video, but I will show you how to do it and why it's important. Then we'll go and do Google Merchant, and then we will do Facebook Commerce, and we'll combine all of that, and we'll also market our products on both Google and Facebook at the same time. And I'll talk a little bit about Google and Facebook ads to bring it all together, and close up that video. Okay, so let's start with Google My Business profile. The reason why I'm saying I will not go into too much detail in this video specifically, because I don't want this video to be too long. And if you go to our Scholar Online YouTube channel, there is a series already that is very detailed on Google My Business, and I don't want to repeat myself there because this is still complete and quite relevant. You can go and follow this series and create your own Google My Business account. And you might ask yourself, but why should you create a Google My Business account? And I will show you. Let's say somebody is looking for lace wigs for sale. All right. If you're looking for lace wigs for sale, what you find is at the very top of lace wigs for sale is this. This is what we're going to start with. This is Google Merchant. When we get to the Google Merchant part of our marketing here, I will show you how to create this type of displays. This is Google Shopping, and when people search for your products, they'll appear right at the top. So Google Shopping and Google Merchant is actually the best way to market your products by far, and I've tried them all, and I can assure you it is the best one in terms of giving you money for your buck, in terms of profitability, in terms of just like your marketing return on investment, because when you go to the Google searches, you can see it comes right at the top. It is the highest it's a top results that come up, and some of this you have to pay for, and I'll show you exactly how to do this and create a Google Shopping, Google Merchant, and then connect with your Google Ads, and then create this type of advert, which is like the best way to do it. And what I like about Google is that you'll see different stores here. This is Wish, this is Take a Lot, this is Hair City, this is Banggood. So what Google does, it really spreads out evenly between the marketers. So even though Wish take a lot, are paying a lot for their advertising, you as a small person also have a chance to feature on the top page of it, because Google actually gives everybody a chance when it comes to Google Shopping, irrespective of what they're paying for their cost per click. You'll find that you actually appear right at the top with your Take a Lot and your Wish, even if you're a small business. So I love Google Shopping. It's definitely one of the services that I use the most. But Google My Business is right next to Google Shopping. This is why you want to do Google My Business. Google My Business is this sort of Google directory that helps people find local stores that are near them. Okay, so it is targeted towards local selling. So they'll advertise your business with people that are searching for it within your area. So if I'm based in Sandton, South Africa, and I create a Google My Business account for lace wigs, right? When people search for lace wigs on Google, my store will appear with other stores that are in the area closest to the person who's doing the search. So if somebody is sitting in Cape Town and searching for lace wigs, my store might not appear. The closest store to that person searching for lace wigs will appear. That is why Google My Business is very strict about confirming your address. They need to know where you stay, because the way the search is structured is that they need to show your search rankings to, your product to people that are searching within your area. So it is a local booster, to boost people that are close to you. And if you have a physical store and a place where people can come and do stuff, then you definitely must do Google My Business. The amazing thing about it is that it's free. Okay, so the services they offer you, you don't pay for it. You can come and create your account for absolutely free. The only thing you have to do is to verify your account. So go through this video and and check how you do all of that and all the different methods that you can apply to verify your Google My Business account. But the one tip that I'm going to share with you today here is that when you start with a new business, a new online store, a new website, if you're following along, if you come to Google My Business and claim your, and you follow the tutorial the way I've shown you, and you claim your Google My Business, they will always ask for like an address where they will send a postcard that you must receive. That postcard will have like a pin at the back, and you can then enter that pin in Google My Business to verify your account. And there's other alternative methods of verifying your account, but a lot of them are quite complicated, and sometimes the postcard never arrives. I've had issues where I've ordered for a postcard since June in one of my businesses, and it just never arrived. I don't know whether it was our postal office that is out of order. I don't know. For some reason, the postcard never arrived. The tip that I'm going to give you here is a nice workaround towards the postcard scenario. If you want to avoid that method, you actually want to run your business for some time. So let's say we create this online store, we make some sales, we run it for like a good 6 months, and we start creating, like we get indexed by Google, and we start creating sort of like a reputation online. We get some backlinks to our store, we get some online reviews, so you run your business for like a year or so. And once your business is run for some time, Google collects data on you whether you know it or not, right? So after a year or so, Google has collected enough data on you to pretty much sort of skip that method where they have to send you a postcard, and they will allow you to verify your account via email only. Like you'll be able to like go claim your listing, and then they will say, okay, just give us an email address like admin at whatever your domain, but the domain will be definitely the domain of your website, which is like admin at lacewigs.co.za, which of course you will have access to because it's your email account. You're the one who created this hosting package, and then you'll be able to verify your account that way, which is definitely much easier. It's an instant verification. They just, you just go in there and you ask for verification. They say, okay, fine, you qualify for email, and then you go and you get the email, you get the pin, boom, and then you got your Google My Business. And that actually, it works better than trying to get the postcard. So that is why I'm not going to do Google My Business now. I'm actually going to run my store for like a couple of months, build my online reputation with Google, get Google to know that I'm a real store. I make some sales, get your Facebook page going, get people to recommend your business. After a couple of months, maybe a year, then you come back and you do it, and then it's almost instant. But if you don't want to wait for a year and you think you'll be okay with the postcard, definitely go for it. But that's all I'm going to say about Google My Business. And then after that, we're going to go into actually, before I do the Google Merchant, I want to start with the Facebook Commerce. And I'll combine that with Facebook, Instagram shopping, so that I can just get it out of the way, and then we'll finish off with the Google Merchant. Okay, we've done something similar in this channel, right? So let's just stick this as done. All right, and then we're gonna do that later, and let's do the Facebook stuff. So there's a couple of things you need before you can do this. And if you followed along last video, you would have a Facebook account already created. We created this in the last video. You would also have an Instagram account already created. We did this in the previous video, and I'm actually like falling behind putting posts, okay? But you need to like be consistent in putting up your posts on a regular basis to keep your account growing. But the funny thing is that like I've got people following me and I'm not even doing anything. Like I have like one post and people are following me. So that's nice. Maybe every couple of days I get a follower. So that's really cool. Maybe people love lace wigs. Okay, before we continue, I just wanted to mention something very, very quickly. I took a screenshot of the website as I left it with you guys the last video. You will see at the top of the images that I had on my store, they were like, sort of like copyright or sort of like brand writing, from the Unpretty store on AliExpress where we downloaded these images from. You can see this image also has got something there, and it's got that copyright R on it. You cannot use this image in your store like this, okay? AliExpress buyers and sellers know that people drop ship from their shops, and people actually use their images for drop shipping, and I'm sure they don't have a problem with it, because when I make a sale, I'm actually going to buy it from you. So you actually want me to use your to dropship from your store as opposed to your competitor's store. But I don't know why they like branding their images, because when they brand it like this, you won't be able to use this image for Google shopping and Facebook shopping. So you need to actually remove this watermark. You need to remove this logo, and there's a couple of softwares you can use, but the problem is with a lot of the hair images, it's really, really hard, and I had to do this off camera because it was going to take me a long time to try and show you how to do it. But just know, if you get an image from AliExpress that you want to use on your online store, and especially if you want to use Google Shopping and incorporate that and use Instagram Shopping and Instagram and Facebook Commerce, you have to remove the copyright from the image. Otherwise, your image will not be approved by Google and by Facebook. Okay, so that's very, very important. Some people might not understand why their shop is not getting approved. It might be something as small as that, and maybe the messaging they're sending you back as why your stuff is not approved is quite cryptic and you don't get it. Okay, so make sure you have removed all of this. Okay, so I've done it already, and if you see in my images are all without that writing, and if you really find it difficult to remove it, like it's in the hair, like this was the hardest, I actually just trashed this picture and went to the store and found another image of the same wig and used that instead. Okay, so just find a way to get away from the image in the picture. Now once we've done that, we before you can incorporate Facebook, I actually forgot we need to do this. We need to do it from the Facebook, from the online, from the WordPress side. We have to incorporate the plugin for Facebook, because that's what's going to allow our e-commerce store to connect to the Facebook account. So for that, we will go to our plugins, and this plugin would have been installed. So we're going to go to our plugins and check all the plugins installed. This plugin should have been installed when we did that initial check. If you followed along with my tutorial exactly, you would already also have this plugin installed, and you wouldn't have to install it again. But in case you don't have it, just scroll down to this on your plugin list and just look for Facebook. And some of these plugins need updating, and you need to come here and update them, but just be careful when you update them, they don't break your store. So just give yourself time to do this updating. And I'm looking for the Facebook. There you go. Facebook for WooCommerce would have been installed. Okay, so what you need to do there is you need to configure it so that you can connect your Facebook account to your Facebook e-commerce WooCommerce page, because that's how you're going to be able to link and sort of integrate your e-commerce with WooCommerce. So you're just going to go there and say get started, and then this is where you need to select the business manager. So I just need to change that to go with the Lacewigs one, and this is the page that I want to create this for. I've got a couple of pages on there, and then a catalog. I don't have a catalog. I don't want my personal catalog. Let's see if I cannot create a new catalog. All right, continue. Lacewigs catalog. That's all right. So the catalog is going to be The catalog, the catalog is going to be the one place where you're going to be able to synchronize the products from WooCommerce with your Facebook shopping, which also will then later synchronize with your Instagram shopping. So an ad account, I don't have an ad account. I don't want to use my old one. I'm just going to create one that it says Lacewick's ad account. This is for when you have paid ads that are going to be associated with this whole arrangement. All right, and they just created me a new one, and I will continue with that. And the pixel as well, we'll just go with that. That just was just created now with the ad account, and that's the pixel, right? And so just go through your settings again. Because if you're like me and you have multiple e-commerce stores and multiple Facebook pages, you gotta make sure that everything is right, because the last thing you want is for one e-commerce store products to be synchronized with the wrong Facebook page. Okay, so the business manager is that one I just created, the Lacewick's catalog, the Lacewick's page, the Facebook pixel. So everything automatic and advanced matching. This is very, very important to have that ticked, and then you click continue. Manage your ads is required. If you're going to do this via that extension, that's all right. But you'll get a chance to sort of set your budget and set an advert if you want it at all in the first place. Okay, manage your catalog. All of this is required. You can't change it. And I'm going to just click next. And that's what you want to see, and you're all done. Okay, awesome. So if everything goes well, you'll be able to now see your page, your pixel, your catalog, your business manager account, your ad account, and everything in here. And you can create Facebook ads directly from your e-commerce store, because you've just given WooCommerce permission to be able to do that on your behalf. But that's not what we're going to do today. What we're going to do instead is go back to our page here, and we're just going to now connect our Instagram page to our Facebook page so that they can now all work together in terms of our Facebook and Instagram shopping. So for that, we are going to go to settings. And for settings, under settings, you look for Instagram, and remember you can do WhatsApp as well, but I'm not going to do that in this video, but this is very easy. You can just click over here on the WhatsApp and just put in your WhatsApp number. What that does is when people visit your page, let's just go back to the page, they will find a WhatsApp sign at the top of the page. At the top of the day where it says add button, you'll be able to add a WhatsApp button, and that is really useful. And I found it useful in my other pages where people just click on that button, especially if they're doing it from their phones, and immediately it takes them to a WhatsApp conversation with you on your WhatsApp. And then you can actually message them on WhatsApp and talk to them on WhatsApp. That's really, really amazing, because it's better than Facebook Messenger as far as I'm concerned. Because number one, once somebody messages you on WhatsApp, you also get their number in return, and you can keep that as a client list, and in future send them messages about your new products, because they've already given you their number by allowing themselves to talk to you on WhatsApp. And you can always go back to them and remind them, hey, I know you asked about this, and you can start creating conversation, and it's very personal, and people feel like they're talking to a person. And people are more likely to make a purchase when they can talk to a person directly, as opposed to just a website that's sitting somewhere and they don't know who's behind that website. So when you do get a chance, come and do the WhatsApp. I won't do it in this video, but it's really important, and people that find you on Facebook can talk to you directly on your WhatsApp. Then you click on the Instagram. That's what we clicked on there, and then you need to then click the connect Instagram account. And I think it helps if you're already logged in. Let's switch accounts, and we want that one. Let's switch to Studio.za. All right. So the last time I did this with you, I remember telling you guys, if you watched my previous video where I did the exact same thing, that you need to have your Instagram page already a business account. And it took us a long time to try and get our Instagram to be a business account, because you can't even do it on the desktop device. You have to do it on a mobile phone. But what I learned is actually, even if you don't do that, when you go through this process automatically makes your Instagram page a business account. So as soon as you're done with this, your Instagram page will be automatically changed into an Instagram business account. So you can just say continue there, because you will see a lot of promotions and all of that, because Instagram then Facebook for Instagram has more features than a normal Instagram account. Okay, so you've switched to a business account on Instagram successfully. So I'm just going to say continue, and you can put in your business account emails there. You know, online, you can put in a phone number and address, but that's not necessary. They won't force you to do it. But an email, I always try to do that. People can email me when they see my business profile, but come back later when you have time and update this information. But you can update it even from Instagram. So that's sorted, right? So once we've done with all of that, the next thing that we need to do now is to create the commerce manager account. There's a lot of steps, and I hope you're writing them down. Okay, if you remember, we started first of all on this side with the plugin. After we did that, then we went to our Facebook page and we connected the Instagram page. Once we do all of that, then there is another website you need to go to, and this is the Commerce Manager website. And this is that when you need to create an actual Commerce Manager account, a new one. Okay, so we're just gonna get there and click on Get Started. All right, in creating a Commerce Manager account, and you're gonna say, where do you want customers to complete their purchase? On my website. If you wanted, you could do it on Facebook or Instagram, or a direct message. But I want to send people to my website because I want to manage all my sales from my website. I want to manage, everything in one place. And I think it's a better system on the website. So whatever clients I get this side, I'm going to be hoying them to the website. And then click on Get Started. And then you need to choose a business here. So the one that I want is this Lacewick's Business Manager. This Facebook cannot be selected because it doesn't meet our requirements for shops. Let's learn more. All right, okay. Okay, be located in a supported market, represent your business and your domain, comply your policy with our policies and so forth. So I can definitely tell you what the problem is, okay? And what you need to do is you need go back to your Facebook page, all right, and supply all the information that's required for your Facebook page. So if you go to the page there, we just created this page and we haven't supplied all the information that's required. So you need to come here and you need to complete the setting. I mean, some of the recommended things that you need to add your phone number, your address, and all of that information. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to do that off camera. Then when you're done, you go to your Instagram page and you do the same, because if you look at our Instagram page there, we haven't even put in a phone number. If you look at our profile, edit profile, there's no website, there's no information, there's no bio. So Facebook can't really tell for sure whether or not we're a real business. We just created this online store. So go and complete all your information. It will take me too much time to do it on camera. I'll do it off camera, but at the same time, you also might need to run your business for a while. This is similar to Google My Business and what I showed you there. When you get to Google My Business and you just created a business online, then they make you go through a longer process to verify your information. But if you've been running your store for a couple of months, so maybe what you have to do is run your store, get some sales, get people to buy, from your store, get some, at least a recommendation. Get a friend to do a recommendation on your Facebook page, so you at least have like 1 5-star recommendation. Because Facebook wants to for you to sort of build a reputation online as a real business that operates and actually has clients. You do schedule some posts online. Just run your business for a couple of months and then come back and complete this. So I won't be able to complete this in this video, but okay. So I've skipped up a little bit, a couple of steps just to save time here today. I've already logged in and created my Google Merchant Center account. If you're not sure how to do it, we have a video on our channel where we go through that process in detail. So I don't want to waste your time doing that all again, but I want to just take you through now this process with our new shop where we've already created the Google Merchant account. Now, the last time we did this video, there were a couple of people that I got comments from that were struggling with getting their Google Merchant account centers approved, and some of them couldn't get a Google Merchant. And I also struggled a little bit today, but luckily I had an old account that I repurposed for this function. Which was just sort of like, there was a store I had that I wasn't using, but now I want to use it for this. And then it was easier to just transfer that account and use it that way. But If you have some issues with Google approving your Merchant Center account, what you can do is, what Google does is that they're like Facebook commerce. If you're a new business and if you just started out, sometimes it takes a little bit of time for them to sort of uh, get your data, get a feel on you, because there's a lot of fraud and sort of fraudulent people out there that take people's money, and Google doesn't want to be a party to that. So they want to sort of have an idea that you're a real business. And then the nice thing about Google is that they're not going to sit you in an interview or like ask you 20 questions and ask you to submit a bunch of documents. What Google does is actually very intelligent. Is that because they pretty much own the internet, they monitor what you're doing, so the moment you open a website, it takes a couple of days, couple of weeks, but then they start to index your website and then they start to get your information. They're constantly crawling your website. They have information of how many people are visiting your site. They've got data about if people are making purchases on your website. They know if people are sort of what's happening. And so over time, once you start creating a reputation of being a real store, you will eventually get past the hurdle of getting Google Merchant. But one sort of tip that I can give you, if you're really struggling, even after you've been there for a while, because I think it also depends on where you're coming from, and I think some places are more difficult than other places to get Google Merchant accounts. A good trick, all right, a good trick that works every time, because certain vendors have more reputation than other vendors, is Shopify. Okay, if you open a Shopify store and then within Shopify you create a Google Shopping app through Shopify, right? Google will automatically create for you a merchant account, and they will not take you through the hoops and hurdles. They will create it immediately because they trust Shopify, and they trust that if you're a Shopify merchant, because they can manage you even better through Shopify, it's much, much easier. So if you're somebody and you're struggling to do it any other means, okay, just create a Shopify store, all right, run it for like a month, all right, and then get Google Shopping app. It's a Google Shopping app the way they have like the way we have plugins in WooCommerce. They've got apps in Shopify. You get that Google Shopping app, and once you get the Google Shopping app, you sort of set it up. It'll take you through that process, and you will create a Google Merchant account there. And then that merchant account is created on your account. If you canceled that shop on Shopify and you don't want it anymore, you keep the Google Merchant account. So then you can move it, but then you'd have to keep the same website and the same URL. So when you create the Shopify account, try and go to Shopify with your own URL, so go to like a hosting provider and get your own, URL and domain, and then rather transfer the domain to Shopify via DNS records, so that when you leave Shopify, you can keep your domain. Then it's going to be easier that way, because it's harder to try and change domains off a merchant account once you've already created it. So the best thing is to get your own domain, get it through Shopify. Then when you leave Shopify like a month later, you have to pay them for like a month or 2 months. Then you can take your domain with you, and then you will take your merchant account with you, and then you can then build your business on WooCommerce. It's just a nice tip if you really struggle to get a Google Merchant account. In my case, I didn't struggle so much, but I've heard a lot of stories, a lot of the comments that I got, emails that I got, some people were struggling, so that's sort of a fix it, but then it will just cost you like a month or 2 months of paying Shopify just to get the Google Merchant. You can even do it for just 1 month, and then you're sorted in a way. So I've already skipped that whole process. Now we're here, we're ready to, you'll see there's no products in this account. So we're ready to start adding our products to the Google Merchant. So in case you don't know exactly how to get here, like you didn't watch my previous video, I highly recommend you go watch it. But if you don't want to watch it, just go to Google, any Google website, and just Google for Google Merchant, right, Center, like that. And that's the one that will come up. Click on that and go through the process to create your account. Then once you're here, we need to go back to our website. There's a couple of things I've done as well. To qualify for Google Merchant, you're going to need this. You need your website to display your physical address. And this would really be helpful if you already have a Google My Business account as well. I know I don't have it, but if you had it, it will also help your Google Merchant approval not to be tedious, right? But I didn't have it. But you must have your address displayed on your website. This is a requirement, because Google will crawl your website when they're going through your merchant, and if they find anything out of place, they will disapprove your account even if it was already approved. So you must have a physical address that is visible on your website, okay? You must have a contact number, which I just remembered now I don't have it. But then this is a good opportunity to show you how I edit this, because the last time we didn't have this on our website. I quickly added a logo there and a sort of a sign up form and link to my Instagram. This is my Instagram page. If you went to my Instagram, this is the last image I just uploaded. Now, as you upload more images on Instagram, you'll have sort of this Instagram thing showing. So the way I did this is on your back end of this. If you install the exact same theme that I installed it, because it might not be possible with other themes, you have to have the exact theme that I installed here. If you go to on that theme, you go to where is it, appearance, and under appearance you go to widgets. All right. This theme has very nice widget that it's built in. You have a sidebar widget, and then you have the bottom sidebar widget. So this is sort of like your it is like a footer. It works like a footer. So you go to the bottom sidebar widget. This is where you make all the changes. So I added 4 different sections: the image, the text, the Instagram feed, and another text. As you can see, that's what's there. The image, the form, the Instagram feed, and another text. All right. And then on this text here, I just want to add my phone number. All right. So I'm going to go to that text there. That's the last one, the one that says get in touch there. And I'm going to say call us. Okay, not my real number, so don't call me on that number. I will change it back later to my real number, or I will use my business number, it doesn't matter. Then once you've done that, you just say save, and you come back here and you refresh. Those changes should reflect there. So Google Merchant wants to see your contact details on your website. And the next thing Google Merchant wants as well, the last time I was doing this tutorial, I didn't have the checkout process completed. So you need to make sure that your checkout works, because they will crawl this and they will test all of this. So you need to make sure that your cart works. So you go to your cart, you have a look at it. Let's just view our cart and make sure that everything works well. And then you need to make sure that your pricing on your cart is exactly what you're charging your clients. So you need to test this and make sure that this works. So this seems to be working fine, and you can proceed to checkout. And you can just make sure that the checkout works well and that you got the payment plans that they are showing here. I know you set it up on the inside, but you need to just make sure that they're working well. So you've got pay fast, and I've got direct bank transfer. And then you can choose whether or not, So my checkout works. I've tested it outside of this, and I know. So before you create the Google Merchant, make sure your checkout works and make sure you've got those contact information on your website. So all of that is good, and then we can start. Now, the first thing that we need is to create a product feed that will go into Google Merchant. So I'm going to do this differently, because the last time we did this, we remember we had that that plugin that we added to our website, and it was called WooFeed, and you could create an XML feed from your website and then connect that feed to Google Merchant, and then Google Merchant crawls that feed on a regular basis to check if there's any new information and for pricing and everything. But today I'm going to do something different, because I don't want to use a WooFeed. I want to show you an alternative method, because you might want to use an alternative method. What I found with the WooFeed is that the WooFeed feeds every single product from your store to Google Merchant, and you might not want to feed every single product to Google Merchant. And maybe you might ask why. Why wouldn't you want that? Reason number one is all the products you feed to Google Merchant will automatically be fed to your Google Ads account when you finally create that and connect a Google Shopping campaign. So you could be selling lace wigs, and you could be selling eyelashes, for example, because I want to add eyelashes on my store as well later on. And you find that your eyelashes are worth what, like 50 Rand, and then your lace wigs are worth 2,000 Rands, right? But the way Google Shopping Ads campaigns work is that it doesn't matter what people click on, the cost per click is the same. So you're going to spend a lot of money advertising products, and then you might find that your that your eyelashes actually get more views, because people prefer the eyelashes more than the lace wigs, and then you find that you're spending a lot of your money in your shopping campaign on eyelashes, whereas they're the smaller valued product, and then you end up paying more. But even though you might get 100 clicks, 200 clicks, 1,000 clicks per day, you're getting clicks on low value products, and then you're actually selling only products worth 50 rands. And I learned over time that actually maybe you want to remove your low value product from your feed so that you're actually advertising and paying for high value product. If somebody enters your store and still wants to buy the eyelashes anyway, at least you didn't pay for their click of them clicking on the eyelash. So you might want to, for example, choose the products that you want to put on your Google Merchant, specifically to be your high valued products, so that when you're paying for your advertising, you are sure that you're not overpaying for like small value things. You understand? And if you use WooFeed, you don't have an option. If you use the WooFeed plugin, I don't have it installed here because I'm not going to use it. You don't have the options to select what products will be included. WooFeed takes everything from your store and sends that to Google Merchant, and all of that will be sent to Google Ads, and then Google Ads will decide. It will depend on what people are searching. If more people search for eyelashes, that's what will pop up. And if then 10 people click and then your advertising budget is finished, you would have paid for eyelashes. There's no way of you controlling what people are going to click because it's going to depend on what's popular. But if you didn't have eyelashes on your shopping campaign, and you're still paying 100 rands a day, Google actually has to give you 60 clicks, and it will give you 60 clicks on what you have. You understand? So now you want only the high value stuff, then you will get those high value clicks. So you don't want the low value clicks taking up your budget. So in this case, this time, I want to actually decide the products that I'm going to end up in here, and I don't want low value products in here. So I'm going to handpick the things that I want to be on my Google Merchant account. So I don't want to use WooFeed. I want to do this manually. So we're going to go to products. And when we get to products, we're going to use a different method for selecting the product feed. You'll see that there's no feed there currently because this is a new account. We haven't added anything. We will go into feeds, and then we will choose to add a primary feed. You can add a supplemental feed, but let's add a new feed there. And you get to new feed, you have to select your country, and I'm just going to pick S for South Africa. And then once I've done that, I'm going to select a language, and English is fine. And then you can, I don't want to add anything else. So I want to use this for the shopping ads and for the surfaces across Google. That's fine. And then we're going to continue there. Or primary feed name, okay? Let's call this main lace wig feed. All right, yeah, there you go. This is where you get to choose the feed type. Previously, we had the scheduled fetch, right? And this is the one that we worked with, that we used WooFeed, right? But there's an option here to use Google Sheets, okay? Google Sheets, this option allows you to create a Google spreadsheet online, and you will update that spreadsheet, and that gives you better control of the products that you add onto that spreadsheet because you can manually add and remove products on the spreadsheet as you want. The only challenge and trick about this method is that you have to update the spreadsheet regularly yourself, and if there's information that doesn't correlate on the spreadsheet, Google will remove your products from Google Merchant. So what Google does is once you've created this feed, whatever it is, on Google Sheets, Google doesn't just take your word for it. Google actually goes to your shop and crawls your shop on a regular basis. And they actually check the Google image, and they check, the image on your store for the product. They make sure there's no writing on it. So if you had writing on your image, they will exclude your image. This is why I started by telling you that you need to remove any sort of branding on your images. Even if it's writing, even if you're just written size 1, color red or whatever, you have to remove your images. Must not have any writing whatsoever. And the second thing is that they will check that the price that you're showing here is the same price that you're submitting to them, that you're not submitting to them a lower price to attract clicks, and then when people get to your website, you charge them more. Then Google also crawls the whole checkout process to make sure everything is working, and that your shipping amount, everything is, and that your store is legitimate and it's got legitimate paying methods. So you have to make sure that your store works really, really well, and you have to make sure that the values and the variables you give Google match what is on your website, because they actually do that check. You might not know it. It happens in the background, but trust me, if you make a mistake and you submit the wrong price, it will just come back and they'll tell you, yeah, no, your price on the website is not the same as the price you've given us. And they check all these things. So even though you do an Excel sheet, you gotta make sure the numbers match. And also, if for some reason you went to Black Friday and you decided you're gonna now have a discount on your store, you must manually update the spreadsheet because the spreadsheet won't update it by itself. And the nice thing about that scheduled fetch and having that XML file hosted on your site was that you didn't have to change anything manually. If you change the price on your actual back end, the XML will change itself because it's always reading off your website and you don't have to manage those details. So the trick about using the Google Sheet is that you will have to constantly make sure that the values in the Google Sheet are always up to date, because if they're not up to date, Google will remove that product from your list and it will not show it on the shopping ad, and it will sort of disadvantage you while you're paying for clicks and then you're not showing all your products that you should be showing. So I'm going to go for Google Sheets. I'm going to click continue. And once you do that, you'll be led to a place where you can log into your Google or whatever. And then you have an option to select an existing sheet if you already have one. But obviously, this is new for us. And Google gives you a nice spreadsheet to work with that you can use to generate the feed. So I'm going to say generate the, and they're going to take you to login again, and they will actually create this spreadsheet for you under your account. It's really amazing how this works. You don't have to worry about the details of it. Just keep clicking next. When you get to this point, everything just pretty much works. You shouldn't have any issues. Let's just wait for it a little bit, and there you go. And the spreadsheet has just been created for us. Okay, so if you click on open there, it will take you to where that Google Sheet is. That Google Sheet is created under your account. Okay, but it is automatically already shared with Google Merchant, so you don't have to do anything extra. When you get here, you'll have some writing here, read through it, but we're not going to read through it. You can just delete all of this and delete that as well. And then once you've done that, then you have to enter this manually, all these products, and we're going to go through entering these things manually. And for all your products inside your store, if you have different variations of the same product, you must enter each and every one separately, because you want your variations to be listed separately. Like if you had the orange wave, for example, you have the orange one, and then you have a pink one and a blue one and whatever. You must actually list them separately, one by one, as different products with different images and different product links, so that Google will list them as separate things. Otherwise, you will be missing out on an opportunity to show your pink wig and people will only see the orange wig. So all of that, we're going to go through that now, populating our Google Merchant Center feed as spreadsheet. A quick fast forward ahead, and I've added all the products on the Google Sheets for you. I'm just going to take you through the process how I did it. The sheet already came prepared with the headings of the columns that you need to submit. So you need to submit an ID, a title, a description, a link to your product, the condition, whether it's used, brand new, the price, availability, image link, and some other variables. We're going to go through that now. So all of this is available from your product page. So if you go to your product page, let's start with the full list of products. We'll just do the first one for you, like this one here, the first product on our list that we have in our store, and I'll just show you through this one how you enter all those variables. The first one is your ID. So this ID must be a unique identifier for your product. It must, you can't repeat it for any other product. So in your catalog, it must be unique. And I like to use my SKU number, which is like a stock identifier that you would have in your store, and you would have it there under your inventory as an SKU. I don't have it in there, but I've just decided to start with the number 1224. So you can put that number 1224 in here and use that as your, when your store gets bigger and bigger, you will see sort of why you need this SKU numbers. But I only have like 10 products, but still Google requires you to have this. So I'll put 1224 there and I'll select it. So you can pick this number ID. The only thing is that it must be unique for all your products. Then your title, I like to put it exactly as I have it in my store. Don't be fancy about it. So whatever title I've selected, because I've already gone through the process of why I picked this title the way that I picked it. So I'm just going to copy it in there and then paste it at the top there. The description, okay, there is no need to rewrite the product description again. You can just copy the product description that you already have in here. All right, but I don't copy it like that, because it will just sort of copy the text format of it, because you're gonna download. You're gonna paste it in an Excel sheet, because Google accepts it in HTML format, because then they can rewrite it in their product page, I mean in their on their side, and it will look closely matched to the way you have it if you copy it with the HTML. So the way you can do that is to instead of the visual version is to go to the text version. You see, you can toggle between the visual and the text version. And if you toggle the text version, this is the HTML format of your writing. So if something is sitting in an H3 tag, for example, it means the browser knows to bold it and make it larger, to fit the H3, and depending on the theme of the website that you're in, and H3 might be styled differently. So this is a way of like formatting your document for a browser, or for any other, for a browser, and telling it how to display your writing. Like this is a paragraph, for example, this is an H2, this is an iframe, which means it's a YouTube video that you must display, and all of that. So I rather copy the HTML version of my description, all right, and then paste it like that in here, because it's a Google spreadsheet. But when Google reads it on their side, they will be able to read everything within the tags, and then they'll be able to write it nicely for you on their side, the way you had it on your website. Then you need to supply the link of the product. Okay, so if you go up here at the top there, that's the link over there. But what I like to do is to actually open it in a different tab and copy it directly from there, so that you don't miss any part of the link. And then you just come and you paste it in there like that, so you get even the HTTPS part of it. Then the condition, is it brand new, is it used? Everything we'll be selling, we're drop shipping, so that will be brand new, and you can put the condition in there. And then you have to enter the price. Now, this is where it gets tricky in some cases, and people get their products disapproved and they don't understand why. When you come to your product pricing, you will see a lot of the WooCommerce allows you, and a lot of the commerce stores allow you to have two different prices. You can enter a regular price, and you can enter a sale price. And some people will have within their store different regular prices and sale prices if they want to put something on sale, but they still want to remind the users what's the actual price, so that people can feel like they're getting a discount, and then they will have two prices there. The problem is when you go to Google Merchant and you put in your regular price because you think that's your regular price, and you put your regular price in there, that is not the price that Google sees when they crawl your website. Because Google will crawl your website. When they crawl your website, they will see the sale price, because that's the price that people can actually check out with. So what you need to include here, if you have two prices, both Google and sale, you need to both a regular and sale price, you need to include your sale price. If you only have a regular price, then you need to include your regular price, but you need to include the price that people will check out with, right? Because Google will check this. So in my case, I'm gonna, for simplicity purposes, I won't use the sale part of it. I'm just gonna have everything on a regular price, and then I know that's the price I need to include in here. But keep in mind that if for some reason you decide to go into the Black Friday sale and to put your items on sale and give people a discount, and you are changing the prices on your store for the sake of the discount, come back and change it on your feed as well, because you want to keep everything always the same. And this is the difference between using a spreadsheet and an XML feed. And a spreadsheet, you must change it manually, because this spreadsheet will not know what the value on your website is. You have to come here and input it manually, and then you need to put in the currency. All right, so you can't just say 134. I mean, Google doesn't know. Even though you specified your country in South Africa, you actually have to specify the currency specifically for the product that you're sending to them. So in my case, my items are priced in ZARs. I'm going to specify that currency. Then you have to mention whether they're in stock or not. This is another trick of doing this in Excel. It's really very manual. So when you change, if something is out of stock, and you have to now check this because you're drop shipping manually as well, you have to check if something is out of stock on the inventory. You have to put it out of stock there, so that people cannot check out on your store with it. But also you must come and tell Google Merchant that your item is out of stock. Google actually still lists it on Google Merchant and still allows people to click on it, so you will still pay for your cost per click, right? But it will show as out of stock, and people can see it when they are searching for out of stock items. I mean, I don't know, maybe I can quickly show you here. Let me search for something that sells a lot. Let me just search for nail polish, because I love nail stuff. Okay, nail polish, and you'll see there sometimes if you go into images, you'll see it will show you whether items are in stock or out of stock. There you go. right? So this OPI nail liquor is in stock. This is where you change it, and people can still see it if it's in stock. And in some cases, you'll find that your thing is out of stock, and people will still be able to search for it if it's out of stock. So this is where you manage it and tell Google whether something is available or not. And if for some reason it goes out, you must come and update this and say out of stock there. Then your image link, okay? The image link is the location on the internet where the image of your item is sitting. So this link is different from that link. That link is the link of your store. So I mean of your actual product. So it's this link over here. If you open this on a different page, this link over here is the link where Google will send people when they click on your product. It will send them here so that they can immediately add this thing to their cart and check out. So this is your product link, right? But Google also wants the image that it used to represent your product. So that is that image over here that it puts up there, and that image over here, and you provide them with an image link, and Google just places that image. And the way you find your image link is if you go to your back end, right, and you just click on that image. So this is the main image you want to use. If for example you had two images and you wanted to use a separate one, you can change that yourself. And that's the nice thing about doing these things manually, is that you can decide those things. So you click on that image, and when you go to the sort of image section, if you go down here, you will see the file URL there. Okay, so you can like highlight this and copy it, or you can just click on that copy URL at the bottom, right? So this is the URL of your image. If you open a new web page and you pasted that URL and you opened it, you will see only the image. So anybody who goes to this URL can find your image. So you supply Google with that URL so that Google can know what your product looks like, and it can combine that URL with your description and your title and your website like that when you create your shopping process. So this is how your Google shopping page will look like. You know, this is the image URL you've given Google. This is the sort of the product description, not description, the product name and the price, in this case 125 ZAR, and then your store will also show there, you know, like in our case it will show lace wigs or that lace wig. This is Superbalist, this is a different store, Take a Lot, whatever. So whatever your store name is, it will show there as well, and the price will show. And people will come here and be like, and compare things. And Google Shopping is really, really effective. Really, when it comes to e-commerce, you really will struggle to be successful if you don't do Google Merchant. Now, once you've done that, you're at the end, you enter your price. So I've shown you where that image link, where you get that image link from. And then, you know, these ones are unique product identifiers that you have to give to Google. In some cases, when you're drop shipping, you might not have it. But if you dig deep enough, you'll find it from AliExpress. But I'm not going to go into how you're going to get your MPNs now, because I think it's not relevant for what we're doing here. And then the brand, you know, whatever brand it is, if you want to use the brand from AliExpress, you can use your own. Google doesn't really care. This is not really important. You can put whatever the hell you want there. But the product category is very, very important. This product category is what defines this is the type of product it is, and it helps Google to categorize your product. So somebody might search for nail polishes. Okay, Google understands nail polishes are within beauty and health, you know, and it's got a specific product number. So even though you might not have called your thing nail polish, okay, Google recognizes that the person that typed that nail polish, they are trying to search for things within a certain category. So Google might show your product as well, even though your SEO is not necessarily directed towards nail polish, if you got the product category right. Okay, so this is very, very important. You might not think this is, you know, you might not pay a lot of attention to this number, but it helps Google classify your product in the right category so that it can show it to the right people when they are searching for it. So the way you find out this number, I've already done some Googling for you. Thank you a lot. So you go, there's a, where is it? There you go. I'll try and link this URL for you in the description. But this is a page that explains how the Google product category works. And then if you scroll to the bottom of this, they've got a document that you can click on this and download an Excel sheet or a plain text sheet, which has a list of all the categories for you so that you don't get it wrong. Okay, so I've already downloaded that for you. And if you look at it here's the spreadsheet over there. All right. And let's just make it bigger, and you can see all the numbers from the top, everything from animals, pet supplies. These are the numbers. So one is animal and pet supplies, but you might have different types of pet supplies. You might have a pet supply that is specifically a cat supply, that is a cat bed, then you must give it that number. Okay, in my case, I'm selling beauty, health and beauty. Let's just go down here. Okay, there's a lot of health and beauty subcategories. You have personal care, cosmetics, ear care, feminine sanitary, hair care, like I'm gonna sell hair products, shampoo, hairstyling tools, hair shears, hair color, hair kits, whatever, hair care, foot care. So I just use that basic one, the first one, which is generic for all of these things. So if somebody went and specifically searched for hairstyling tools or curling irons, curling irons goes under 489. Google will know, if you gave it the 489 number, that your product is relevant to that number. Even if you didn't call it, because there's two ways Google does a search. It will look at your product description and you'll try and find matching words in there. But let's say you called it something else, it can identify it via the category. So make sure you get this right and you don't miss out on opportunities to have your products displayed to the right people. Now, our spreadsheet is done. Okay, you don't need to do anything. Once you're done with it, you just go back to, because it just sort of saves it automatically whenever there's a change. You can just go back to your merchant center. Okay, and you can let's just refresh this, because what I want to do now is to fetch the feed. Okay, fetch the feed from the sheet, and so let's go to let's click on it. Okay, so feed is not ready yet because you haven't fetched it. So let's click fetch now. So what it will do now, it will go and look for that spreadsheet, because you typed the stuff in, and just leave it as it is, and then you come here and you click fetch. So wait while the upload is still being processed. It might take some time. It actually goes and looks for the images as well, so it's doing a lot in the background. Just give it some time and be patient. There you go. So that's done. And I only had 3 products. It took a couple of minutes. Hey, because I'm uploading these products for the first time, it actually had to check everything. Google machine was busy crawling my site, double checking the product image, double checking the prices. So it has found no issues. If there had been issues, trust me, you would have seen that here. So there's shipping information that's missing, but that's not a major thing. It's a minor thing. So that's fine. If you go to overview there, you'll be able to now, I think, maybe refresh this, because actually now it shouldn't say missing product data anymore, because I have added. Okay, maybe it'll take some time for this to come through, but you can see now that I've uploaded within the last 24 hours a new feed, November 6th, which is right now, and it'll take some time for that data to show. But you're done with your Google Merchant. Now, what you need to do now, what we need to do to actually create these adverts that I was talking about, you can see a lot of them. Like if you go to nail polish, all at the top there, you'll see these are ads. You see ads at the top. So what this means is that these are paid adverts. Meds, nails, nail polish. These are paid adverts. So what you need to do is actually create a Google Shopping campaign that talks to your Google Merchant campaign, so that you can also create an ad. Otherwise, your products still show up, okay, but they don't show up like this. They will show up under images, or they'll show up under shopping. So let me go to shopping, for example. Google Shopping is an actual Google website, right? That your products will show up here. Like you've got, yeah, that's my store, that is store. And you'll see other sort of Take a Lot, Meds, Nails, and a whole lot of other ones, such as store, nail polish, whatever, You will see that your products appear here, but these are not adverts. These are just normal shopping. This is your product appearing naturally in the shopping. This wish for 16 Rand. Obviously, it will take you 3 months to get this, waiting for it. So these are not the shopping ones. You don't want your product here, because nobody Googles this far deep into the thing. Most people are going to end on the front page of Google, okay? And on the front page of Google, under nail polish, all right, these are all the Okay, now it's now showing me the images because I've clicked on the images so much it thinks that's what I want. But I actually wanted, let me search for something else like 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 ladies watches. Let me search for that. Yeah, you'll see the ads are the ones that appear first. So you want to create an ad campaign behind your product because that's where your things will appear more. Obviously, someone must still go into shopping and go into the details of it, but this is very rare actually. The ones who appear first is the ones that are most likely to have people click on them. Okay, so let's go and do the shopping campaign. Okay, so we're gonna now go over to Google Ads to start creating a new ads campaign. So how you get here is just go to ads.google.com and then you'll be faced here. Then you can just click on sign in to sign into your Google Ads account. So I'm going to try and use my Scholar Online Google Ads account. So needless to say, you need to have an existing Google Ads account. Okay, this won't work with a brand new Google Ads account. If you went to create a brand new Google Ads account, if you didn't have one yet, it will not give you the option to do a shopping campaign. So if you go to sales there in a new account, you will see these ones are grayed out. You won't be able to select them. So what you need to do if you're creating a Google Ads account for the first time, you need to create it and then you need to come here and pick something like a website traffic campaign and a search campaign and go through the steps of building that campaign. It's very self-explanatory. You will see as you do this. And then you can run it for like 2 seconds and then pause it. All right, you don't have to like actually run it. Just create it for the sake of having one default campaign. Even if you stop it, like you can see, I don't have any campaigns running. I've stopped all my campaigns. So you creating a campaign doesn't mean you have to maintain it. You can create it and then pause it, and then come back and go to now creating a shopping campaign, because only when you have an existing account that has at least one campaign on it will you be able to do the sales campaign. So you need that first one, the sales one, and when you come to the bottom here, you need to select shopping. You will see there is two types of campaigns. There's a shopping one and there is a smart shopping one, and this is where a lot of people trip up, and including myself when I was a beginner. I would come here and look at smart shopping and think, yeah, that's the one that I want. And then click on this smart shopping campaign and then put some money in it and wait like 2 weeks and nothing is happening. I'm getting no impressions, okay? A smart shopping campaign is not a campaign that you want to create on a new website, because the way smart shopping campaign works is that it works on people that have already interacted with your brand. So it acts on people that have already interacted with your brand on Google, on Facebook. I mean, I don't know how Google does it, but it knows people that are already showing interest in your brand, whether it was your Google page, your Facebook page, your Instagram page, or somewhere online, people that already like or know you, or they visited your website. You sort of tag them as they come to visit your website. Then it remarkets your stuff to the same people. This is like when you go to Take a Lot one day and you're searching for watches on Take a Lot, and then after that, everywhere you go, you see watches. Those are smart shopping campaigns, and they only activate on you once you have interacted with a brand. Now, if you are a new a business like me, I've just created this lace wig online store. Clearly, nobody has interacted with my brand yet, and I come and I create a smart shopping campaign, and then I get no impressions and I get nobody visiting my store, and I wonder what's wrong with me. I put more money into it, but nothing happens. I think I waited for like 3 weeks the last time when I started this, until I like asked for help from Google, like why is my thing not sort of not creating any impressions. And the help center agent, they told me no, when you're starting out you can't work with a smart shopping campaign. A smart shopping campaign is for people that have already run their store for like a while, and then they already have people that can come back, and then they create that. In your case, when you're starting out the first time, you need to go with a shopping campaign, and in some cases I actually like to have both. So have both smart and and sort of like just test them out, because sometimes the smart works. It's very tricky how it works, but what I was told was, when you're starting out, Google doesn't have enough data on you to do a smart campaign so you don't get enough impressions and it's not as effective. So you want to do maybe the basic shopping one and then give it like a couple of months for people to interact with your brands. The Google even recognizes your type of client. So it's not just people that have interacted, but it's also the type of people that would interact, and it starts to recognize the affinity people towards your brand, the affinity of the people that are, start to recognize people that have affinity towards your brand. So then it will tend to know your type. All right, and Google does it so well. It's the technology behind it, the AI, and before you know it, your sales just go up the roof because it's the right people that it sends to your website. So the smart campaign definitely is where you want to end up, but maybe not where you want to start. So we're going to click on that, on shopping, and then we're going to get here and select a linked account with products for this campaign, okay? So before you go on, you'll need to link your Merchant Center account with your product data. Send the link request from Merchant Center. Learn more, and let's do that. So we need to link a Merchant Center account first. Right, so we need to go to Merchant Center and we need to click on shopping ads setup. There you go. So let's link an account. Google Ads customer ID. Let's copy it there. Paste it there. Send link request. Alright, so I need to confirm this on Google Ads side. Let's refresh this. So under notifications, you should be able to see the one Merchant Center account link request pending. Let's look at it and accept it. View details, Lacewick's essay, that's the name of the store, that's the Merchant Center ID, and I'm going to approve it. And it is now linked, and let me just close that. So what, so you gotta approve it from both sides, and it makes sense, so a merchant account cannot just impose itself on your Google ads and vice versa. So both accounts have to confirm it. So I can just come back here and refresh this, and hopefully it picks it up that I've confirmed this and linked it. Yep. But there is no shopping campaign. So what I need to do now is to go back to out of here on the Google Ads side and get back to my campaign that I'm creating, the new campaign. All right, so let's go to the new campaign and select the sales shopping campaign and the normal shopping, not the smart shopping. And you should be able to see your linked accounts there. There it is. Lacewick South Africa is now linked, and I'm in South Africa, right? And I want a standard shopping campaign. Let's just read this again. Maximize your conversion value by using automated bidding and targeting across da 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 da. And they don't tell you this here. They're very sort of cryptic about their messaging, but basically, smart shopping campaign, you gotta have a little bit of data for Google to work with, or else it doesn't really work very well. Sometimes it works, but you'll find that your cost per click is high because it's not well targeted. This works much better after your store has run a bit online, maybe a couple of months, and Google has collected some data on you to be able to actually decide who to send to your to maximize your CPV. So start with just a standard shopping campaign. Continue there. And when you get here, you're just going to enter campaign name. Let's do Lacewick and maximize. Let me see there. You've got a couple of bid strategies. Okay, what a bid strategy is what do you want Google to sort of focus on? Do you want Google to send more clicks or to focus more on conversion? And conversion is the people that it sends will be the people that are most likely to buy. And maximizing clicks is just sending anybody to your site and you don't know whether they're going to buy or not. So usually you want to work with maximizing conversion or having a manual CPC. Okay, so it's optimized for conversions rather than being optimized for clicks, because you don't want random clicks. Anybody that was just looking for an article on lace wigs, finds your store, they click on it, but they're not really gonna buy anything, right? And then you create a budget here, and I want to say, let's give you like a budget of 50 rands a day there, and the campaign priority. Let's leave it medium, but this is not relevant if you only have one campaign running. So this is really useful for when this is actually, it comes into play when you have multiple campaigns running, whether you're testing or for whatever reason. You could be having a campaign for different products. Maybe you have a campaign for wigs and another one for eyelashes and another one for hair, whatever. And then these campaigns are sort of cannibalizing on each other because it's the same audience. So you might find that if somebody searches for wigs, must Google show this campaign or the other campaign, because they're all sort of selling the same item or within the same product category. So what you do here is that you will tell Google which priority is which campaign has more priority, and the one that you give more priority to, Google will show first if they are similar products. And usually that's what happens when you're testing products out. You'll find that your campaigns are very, very similar, and they're sort of cannibalizing off each other. The same, it's the same audience that they're targeting, and so which campaign must Google show is the one that you give more priority to. In this case, we only have one campaign, so it doesn't really matter what we pick here, whether we say low, medium, or high. It's completely irrelevant. And leave this as it is. Search network and all of that, that's fine. And South Africa, for now, let's just start with South Africa. But because I'm actually drop shipping, I could sell anyway. Because with drop shipping, the product is actually coming from China. So I could sell in Europe, I could sell in the USA, I could sell, anyway. The only challenge comes with collecting of money. If you sell in South Africa, you can collect using PayFast, right? But if you want to sell, for example, in Europe, you can't use PayFast because PayFast only works with ZAR. And you might want to now create a store that is in euros, and then you have to find a different collection mechanism. That's usually where the trick comes in. And you could use PayPal, right? But PayPal tends to be expensive, and some people don't like PayPal. But there's methods and there's ways, and I'll share with you in some future videos that I'll make in the future, how to create a European store while you're based in South Africa and sell dropship items from China and sell them to Europeans in the European market, and you're based in South Africa or America, whatever. And I'll do that in the future. But for today, let's just focus on South Africa. And start an end date. Let's say no end date, and we just start today. And let's continue. And then over here, you can choose you want it to single product type. This is like the common ones that we see, ladies watches. So the common ads that we see, ladies are female watches under shopping. These ones where there's just one image, a description, and a price at the bottom. This is the one here. An image, price at the bottom. So that's the one you want. Okay, we can just go for that, and an ad group name. Lace wig 1. All right, and then enter your cost per click a bid. All right. So cost per click is like how much you want to. I thought I picked an automatic one. Okay. The bid is a maximum cost per click. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. We create. Okay. So what this means is this is the maximum that Google will, and this is important to set this. Okay. And I will set this as 1 rand. Okay. Because what this means is that Google will optimize your cost per click, obviously, but it will not go over the maximum, because I've seen campaigns where you don't set this value and you leave it blank, because you can leave it blank, and then you end up paying like 20 rand for 1 click. All right, so you need to at least set a maximum, and then let's continue there. And right, all right, so that's it. Maximum cost per click is that one. Enhanced, I'm not quite sure what that means. All right, but basically your campaign is up and running, and that's all it takes. So usually what will happen is with Google, because it's a new campaign, it's going to take time to learn. So you're not going to see people on your website immediately. But you'll be paying the 50 rands per day anyway because Google actually is spending all that money, but they are learning. The first 5 days they are learning. They are sort of trying new things and trying to figure out your target market. Because you've changed your bid strategy, they're sort of like, and every time you edit your advert, you go through that 5 day learning period. And I think it's actually just a Google punishment to try and keep people from changing things around a lot. But the point is, so we've done this today. It will take about a week before this is optimized. But I'm going to immediately cancel this because I don't actually want to pay 50 rands a day to advertise this. I just did this for the sake of showing you how to create your own Google Ads account. So that's all you need to do. Okay, then you wait 5 days, and after that, you'll start paying for it. But from the calculations we've done and all the pre-planning, you should be getting decent traffic coming to your site. And I assure you, you will get people buying your wigs, and it doesn't really matter what you sell. Google Ads is a very, very effective way of getting marketing and driving traffic to your website.